What's going on, everyone? Alex Miller from the Eagle, joined by Robert Cessna and Travis Brown. We're live inside Kyle Field following Texas A&M's upset win over Alabama 41-38. Let's just start off with it. Cease, did you have any thought that A&M could possibly do it, and what was your thought when they actually clinched it?
No, I didn't think they could. We talked about this before. I didn't know how this team was going to score. I figured they could score 17 points. I just didn't think there was any way this team could win with the injuries they've had and what we've seen so far. And to be quite honest with you, I know I sat beside you guys. I think you can see I was somewhat mesmerized by how well they could play.
Travis, you were down on the field at the end of the game. What was it just like down there when A&M kicked that game-winning field goal?
I mean, it was nuts. We've seen some really great games here. You kind of think back to the UCLA game with Trevor Knight, of course, Florida last year with what they're able to do. The noise, the running on the field, the craziness. Nothing beat this tonight in the last 5 years that I've been here. Also really cool, and what I wrote about a little bit, to see how, especially the student section, but if not all of Kyle Field, really embraced Zach Calzada for the really great game he had tonight, chaining his game, and they loved it when, after he took a really hard shot to the knee on that game-tying touchdown, came back out on the field and led that 2-minute drive to get that game-winning field goal.
Yeah, it was going to take the perfect storm for A&M to beat Alabama, and that's what happened. And it all started with Zach Calzada and the way that he played. And Travis, that's kind of the focus of your game story tomorrow. What was it about Zach that enabled A&M to pull off an upset like this?
Well, I mean, it has to start with confidence, because he looked like a guy who in the last two games, his feet were moving all over the place. He was scared to get a hit coming his way or pressure coming on, and would kind of get happy feet when he was throwing the ball. Jimbo said he worked on his mechanics. He got on top of the ball. His feet were square. He adjusted his arm angle a little bit to get the best trajectory on the ball, and he stood in there, and when pressure came, he wasn't afraid to take the hit, which is exactly what happened there at the end of the game for that game-tying touchdown. He had confidence and he had toughness, and that's exactly what emanated to the rest of the team throughout the rest of the game.
Cease, we've talked a lot about this offensive line and its struggles and its growth. They were very good tonight. Thinking about Jameer Johnson not playing, Trainer stepping in at guard, what'd you see from the Aggies' offensive line that helped protect Calzada back there?
I was amazed they didn't give up a sack. Calzada did not stay clean, but he showed great mobility a couple times. No sacks, and they held their own against that Alabama defense. So I thought that was key, and Travis touched on it. Confidence. I think the defense played with confidence all night, even when they made mistakes, but that confidence allowed them to get the interception by Richardson, allowed them to force three field goals instead of touchdowns. And I think both coordinators, Jimbo and Elko, called a good game because they called from confidence. And it's kind of funny because you say, why did they play with so much confidence? I think a little bit had to do with they knew they had nothing to lose. They were supposed to lose by 18, 19 points. So I give Jimbo and Elko credit that they came in like, hey, we're just going to let it fly. And I think they let it fly from the start, whereas you go back to the Mississippi State game, they were in a hole the second play when they gave up the interception. I think this time they came out and they took the fight to Alabama, and I was surprised by that.
Alex, turnovers were key early in the first start of the game. I know that's what you wrote about in your sidebar. What did you see from A&M's defense in those turnovers that enabled them to jump on the board early and get that lead that they needed?
Yeah, those first two turnovers in the first quarter were definitely huge. The first one, that was just a mistake on Alabama. Brian Robinson, it was a simple handoff that he just missed from Bryce Young, and he had some running room on that left side of the hole, just mishandles it, and Leon O'Neal picks it up. And then how about Damani Richardson's interception? I mean, Cease, you were in Tuscaloosa in 2012. That kind of had some shades of DeShazer Everett stepping in front of a receiver and intercepting the ball right there at the goal line. Those are the kind of plays that A&M was going to need. And I wrote in my story, I was listening to the pregame radio show, and Dave Elmendorf said his most important key for A&M to come away with a win was going to be winning the turnover battle. A&M hadn't won the turnover battle against Alabama since they won in 2012. Not only that, how about the non-offensive touchdown? Cease, we talked about it. How many times has Alabama just broken A&M's back with just the non-offensive touchdowns. They get one on the blocked punt, but then A&M returns with the Devon Achane touchdown return. When that happened, did you just kind of feel that it was maybe just going to keep going A&M's way?
Well, yes, I thought they had a good chance because I thought when they blocked the punt, I go, oh, here they go. Here comes, the 3 interceptions against, Allen, the great returns by Percy Waddle time after time. So you're right, A&M has seen that. But once again, A&M played with confidence with the game on the line. And I was just mesmerized by that the whole night because you can't beat a number 1 team like Alabama. Alabama's still at over like 500 yards offense, but I still felt A&M's defense played well because they played with confidence, and that's the only way you beat somebody like that.
And played with confidence inside the 17-yard line. I think there was 4 third down plays where they made stops inside their own 17, and especially there too, I believe, towards the end of the game. I remember looking over at you looking at me and saying, they're tired, they're gassed, and because Alabama was moving down the field, but they were able to find that last little bit there when it came down to the end of the rope and kept them out of the end zone.
It's kind of funny as you go back to the ball that Johnny got off his lineman, throws a touchdown. You have to have a little bit of luck. And those at the last drive Alabama had, they had 2 guys wide open really, and they didn't get the ball to them. And I think Alabama was pressing a little bit, and Alabama felt the 12th man. I mean, what a great postcard that Jimbo has to send all recruits, whatever, tonight, because that crowd made a difference. Just like they did last week, A&M didn't win. Tonight, they took advantage of that crowd.
And you have to notice that when he was asked about the crowd, which we all knew he was going to be with the penalties that they caused and with just the general noise and atmosphere, that the first thing he said was, who wouldn't want to play here?
Mm-hmm. And he mentioned he mentioned recruiting immediately in that post-game press conference.
They had a lot of good recruits here, and that's what you do. And it was loud out there. I already checked the people that were out there, and you guys were there. It was loud, and that crowd made a difference and helped win the game. And you talk about taking a piece of Fenway if you ever go there, things like that. People took a piece of this win home with them, just like they did when they went to Alabama. Not that many people went to Alabama, in 2012. 100,000 people here today.
So that's my question for you, as someone who's seen a lot of A&M games. I've seen people on Twitter talking about, hey, maybe the biggest win in Kyle Field. Where do you from the games? I mean, I know you just missed the 1939 national championship, but where do you put this on? That's
you think right away of the game 9-6 over Nebraska. The crowd played a huge in that, but that wasn't big moving forward. You think about when they beat Oklahoma with Reggie McNeil come off the field for whatever. But I think it's what this win means moving forward. Last year beating Florida mattered. That jumped an 8-game winning streak to number 4 in the country. Now they screwed up a couple times this year. But now you're looking around, there's nobody that they can't beat. And now that the report's out there that King's not coming back, Calzada is the guy. So maybe he can relax a little bit. He doesn't have to worry, well, in 3 weeks, I might not be here. No, he's the guy. There's nobody they can't beat. Suddenly, a team that we were talking about, I was on a pregame show that was going to be 7-5, 8-4. Now this team could be 10-2.
Well, we'll see what this win can do for the Aggies moving forward. Travis, you got any final thoughts?
Yeah, well, and I have actually one more question. Okay. As the AP voter in the room, too, Cease, this has to push them back into the top 25, right?
Oh, without a doubt. And I got to go break it down because this win's huge. It's like, if you you lost 5 hands of blackjack in a row, and you said, "The heck with it, I'll put $100 out," and you won 100. You go, "You won 100, man!" They hit the jackpot today. That's a huge win because that's the team, as I wrote in my column, that we thought we were all going to see, but that's not the team we thought we were going to see because a lot of them were on street clothes for whatever reasons. The fact that they won with, I counted 4 offensive linemen that had come in with like 10 or 11 career starts, and you beat Alabama with those people. I mean, oh my gosh, the sky's the limit. So I don't know where I'll put them. I'll go back home and spend a half an hour. But man, to me, can you go from 26 to 15 or somewhere? Yeah, because that was such a huge win. Alabama is still Alabama. Now the key is for A&M to continually do that and not make it every 9 years.
Well, thanks for tuning in. Post-game thoughts and wrap-up from us here at the Eagle. Be sure to check theeagle.com and pick up a copy of Sunday's paper chronicling A&M's big win over Alabama. For Travis Brown and Robert Cessna, I'm Alex Miller. We'll see you next time.